Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. We're here for APPF1 Tier 2 season number 9. It's round 2 here in Monza. It's sure to be a fantastic race and do not miss it for the world. Well, many drivers looking to make an impact today. Hopefully not the sort of impact that results in a lost front wing, but definitely after last week's strange race in France where he had to do a late change of track because Codemasters completely screwed up Spain. We are here at the actual scheduled track this week, so the drivers will hopefully be a bit more prepared. But here we are, 18 minutes of short qualifying, as everyone is going to get their first laps underway and see what they can do out there. It's a tough track, this, in qualifying, because there's so few corners. It's a bit like Austria. One mistake and it's really hard to gain that time back, because there's so few opportunities to do it. We're riding on board right now with, I kid you not, the championship leader, Palang 21. He won the first race of the season in France last week from a distraught LB who was absolutely gutted to miss out. He's gone straight over the straight through turns 1 and 2 at the moment. But yeah, LB losing out on that win due to a connection issue. He had to join back into the session, but it was just too late to catch Palang. He lost the win by a few hundredths of a second after penalties were applied. And Palang looking to continue his good form. We've also got Jack Alacco out on the track, first for a lap, as always, is the Scottish driver. To Ascari he goes, and he's going to get us started in this quali session. And so to look at last corner, almost every driver on the grid out on track right now. We've also got LB joining to make it 15 drivers on the grid, which is great stuff. Has Jacko just invalidated? Yes, he has, at the last corner, so he's going to have to come into the pits and go again. That will be frustrating for him. He had a good race in Elite on Sunday at this track. Ended up coming in P4 in the end, which is a very good result for him. But he'll be hoping to build on that today, also with no line here in Tier 2. Palang coming down towards turn 1 though, the championship leader, brakes at the 150-meter board, gets it stopped. No, he doesn't get it stopped in time and has to trundle over the curb, and that's lap over for him. But so what about our pole sitter from race 1 of the season last week, Alex GD? Or I should say Alex G. Jack is laughing at himself in the chat. But yeah, Alex impressed last week in quali, didn't convert it in the race, but I'm sure he'll be hoping for better today as he clatters over the curb for turn 4 and 5. And down towards the Lesmos, brakes after the 50-meter board, gets on the power as soon as he dares, and just after the 50 as well for Lesmo 2. DRS open down towards Ascari. It's looking decent from Alex so far, no major errors. Brakes at the 100-meter board or just after, and misses the inside apex as a result. But down towards Parabolica he goes. He's going to get a nice slipstream off of his teammate Palang. Good teamwork by the Aston Martins there as Alex goes towards the final corner. Brakes very late, gets on the power, but misses the apex a bit, hugs the outside line, down towards the line he goes. It's a 19.9 to start off this qualifying session. Lawrence 4.5 tenths down on that. Scott 4 tenths down. What about Aces, who's reserving today? Down towards the line he goes, a 20.4, about half a second down on Alex's time. JB goes into P5. He won't be happy with that lap, I don't think. Jonathan up to P5 now with no line for him. Tier into second place, 2.5 tenths behind the Aston Martin driver. His old team from last season, with which he nearly won both championships, actually, last season. But it just didn't quite work out for the British driver at the end. One of the oldest APPF1 veterans in the league. Crows are up to P3, and that lap from Alex is looking more and more formidable as more drivers set their lap times. Official JE into P7. What about Palang, the championship leader? He's in sector 3 at the moment, so we'll see if he can improve on obviously what was a disappointing first effort. Down towards the final corner he goes. Robsu's coming through to finish his lap as well. The Finnish driver's going to set a 20.7 to go P7, but what about Palang? Here he comes to the line. It's looking pretty good for me. Down to the line, it's a 20.2 P3 for the Canadian driver. Who's going to be next? I'm not sure. RJ doesn't look like he's on a lap. LB is in sector 2 right now, just started sector 2. Sumo didn't quite get a lap in on his first attempt. New to the wheel this season is Sumo, my commentary partner, of course, and he'll be hoping for a better result than last time out, where he had, well, it was a torrid time in France. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it for him. I hope he does a lot better today. Jack Alaco coming to the last corner. His first effort after invalidating his last attempt at a lap before it had even started. Round Parabolica he goes, and to the line it's going to be for Jack Alaco, looking like a good lap, a 20.1 P2 for the Scotsman. And RJ coming through Ascari right now, but he's not on a lap. LB is, though. He's coming down towards the line. It's looking pretty good from LB. The two-time Tier 2 champion, goes down to P9. So not good to start off with from LB. What about Sumo? He's coming around the final corner now, but he's run out of ERS, but that's to be expected when you go on 2 flying laps. Down to the line goes Sumo. It's a 21.8. He's quite a way off the pace, but I'm sure there's a lot of room for improvement there as RJ goes around for yet another outlap in his Mercedes, just scouting out the track. But Alex looking very formidable right now, a 19.9, 2.5 tenths ahead of Jack Alaco in P2, and then the gaps down the rest of the grid are much closer. So Alex looking very good right now. Tia coming out the pits for another attempt in the meantime. Is LB going round again? No, he's backing off. So right on board with Tia, as he's the only one really on a lap at the moment. RJ absolutely not on a lap, and neither is Sumo. So we'll stay on board with the British driver. Yellow flags, that's a Mercedes going slow. I think that's still RJ. But yeah, the final standings last season were, well, Tier finished in P2 in the Drivers' Championship. It was a very close one thing. He did everything he could, but fell just short by 5 points. It was last season's runner-up. Couldn't quite make race 1 this week, but it's great to see him back on the track, even if he is going not on the track on the exit of the Ascari there. But yeah, and Aston Martin are only 7 points off of winning the Constructors' Championship, with Tia and Robsu as teammates in that team last season. So Tia looking to build, but from that disappointment of last season, where it could have gone even better for him. But down towards turn 1 he goes in the Red Bull. Bit of smoke from the Haas ahead of him. That's one of either Scott or Aces, the 2 reserves tonight. Good to see them giving Tier 2 a go. Hopefully they have a good race. Through Sector 1 comes Tier. Is it going to be up on his previous best? No, he's 1.5 tenths down, but there's room to improve through turns 4 and 5 here. Very easy to mess up those corners, and the Lesmos as well. You can really got to commit through those corners. And Tier looking pretty committed through Lesmo 1, pretty committed through Lesmo 2. On the curb, on the exit, very nice from Tier as he goes down towards Ascari now. Another corner you cannot afford to mess up. Here he goes, he's 1.5 tenths down though, still in Sector 2. So he needs something special in Sector 3, but that's not it. He's gone wide at Ascari, and I think that's going to be that attempt for pole position over for Tier. Alex also 1.5 tenths down in Sector 1 at the moment, so clearly drivers struggling to beat their best, and the same thing happened in Elite, but no, Tier did find something special in the final sector. Wow, he must have had a terrible final sector on his first attempt, and he goes on to pole position at 19.8, so that sets the gauntlet down to Alex, who has improved by about 0.5 tenth in Sector 2 compared to his best, but he's still overall nearly a tenth down as he has a huge moment on the exit of Ascari. Down towards Parabolica he goes. Lawrence goes P3. Official JE jumps to pole position from nowhere in the Alpine. What can Alex do in the Aston? These two newbies really putting on a show in quali at the moment. Alex to the line at 19.806. Jumps Tier to P2. But can't quite beat official JE. Great time from the Alpine driver as Jack Alaco starts his next effort. Currently sitting P5. Palang also on a lap. As who's going to be next across the line? Sumo and that's RJ on an out lap there. Tier, I believe, on an in lap. Yes, he is. What about one of the Hasses? That's Scott. He's 3 tenths up in Sector 2. It's looking great from the British driver. Down towards the last corner he goes. Looked pretty hooked up through Ascari there. Can he improve? He's only got 15% ERS left though, so he could run out just before the line, but I think he'll just about be fine. Gets back up to 17% in the braking zone, and he will get to the line without running out just about. It's a 20.2. It's a slight improvement from Scott. It's an identical time to Crozer, to the 1,000th, but it doesn't get him up any places. We also got Lawrence, but he's coming into the pits. Official JE also coming in. What about Aces? He's starting a new lap. There's also the Aston of Palang. Is he improving to the line? Yes, he is, and it's only 200ths away from JE. There's less than a tenth between the top 4. What a quali session this is so far, as the championship leader gets onto the front row for now. We've got Sumo on an out lap. We've got the 2 McLarens as well coming to the line. JB not improving. What about Crozer? He's coming into the pits, so JB's going to go again. We've got the Alfa Romeo of LB starting a lap as well. We've got to keep an eye on RJ, who also said he's going no ABS as well today, which is very brave from him. But he's having a go in Elite this season, so he's got to practice. And what better way to practice than having a go in Tier 2? Down to the line comes RJ. It's a 21.5, just about beats Sumo, his teammate, but only enough for P14. We've also got Aces on a lap, 2.5 tenths up in the middle sector. Down towards the last corner he goes. Can he do anything to get himself ahead of his teammate here? As it stands, he would be. But it's so close out there with all these times. He could easily find himself into the top 5 here through the final corner and down to the line. It's a 19.20.2. It's P7 for Aces. Just about 2/10 improvement. And look at how close these times are. Less than half a second between the top 9 drivers. Jonathan now goes to P10 despite only being half a second off pole. Robsu comes around the final corner but dives into the pits. LB comes around the final corner. Can he improve? He's right on the edge on the exit of that corner. Down to the line. Is it going to be pole? No, at 20.0. It's P5 for LB in the meantime. And what an incredible quali session this is turning out to be. Less than half a second between the top 10. Less than a tenth between the top 4. Absolutely outrageous this is. Sumo coming through Sector 1 right now. He's on trying to improve with the wheel. This is a good track to do it, actually. It's a good track to really learn the the margins and the limits of the car. 4/10 up in sector 1, but hits the gravel on the exit of turn 5. And that's going to be lap abandoned, but encouraging pace through sector 1 for Sumo there, as Jonathan gets out the way of someone. Ace is coming around the final corner, but he's not on a lap right now, as LB is in the same boat. Tier also not on a lap. What about official JE, our current provisional pole sitter, a 19.771, but only less than a tenth ahead of P4. What a session this is turning out to be. Here he comes in the Alpine through sector 1. Is he going to have any improvement through the first chicane? We're about to find out. No, half a tenth down in sector 1, but as I say, there's room to improve here, and also in the Lesmos if you really commit. Same with Ascari, but it's so difficult. It's so difficult to gain time without binning it in quali around here. There's so few corners to do it. JE, though, coming to the end of Sector 2. We're about to find out if he's gotten any improvement from that half a tenth down in Sector 1. Yes, he has. He's a tenth up on his previous best in the middle sector. Just about avoids invalidating at Ascari. I don't know how his lap is still valid. He looked way off the track to me. But the game doesn't lie. It's one of the few things it doesn't lie about is track limits in qualifying. JE round the final corner. Is it going to be an improvement from our provisional pole sitter? 19.5 it is. What an improvement from JE. A 19.5 to go pole. Can anyone beat that? And our jeopardy for pole position has just been shattered as JE puts in that brilliant time at the front. What can Alex G do, though, in the Aston Martin? He's coming around the final corner now, and down to the line. It's going to be decent from him as well. It's P2 for the Aston Martin newbie, and it's a front row lockout for the newbies today. Brilliant stuff. But they're not far ahead at all. It's so close out there, and everyone is on an out lap right now. Palang just coming through the first chicane. There's a lot of drivers who've just come out the pits. Is Tier coming out the pits? Yes, he is for his final attempt as well. But he's got to be careful here. He might run out of time if he's not careful. He's got about a 20-second buffer. As Scott leaves the session, hopefully he can get back in. JB coming through Sector 1 now, down towards the first corner in the McLaren. Where's Jack Alaco in the Williams? He's just come past the line. So we'll keep on board with JB. He's currently down in 13th place, which he will not be pleased about. Through Sector 1 he goes. 2.5 tenths improvement. That's much more like it from the British driver. Someone went way off. That was a Mercedes. I think, Sumo just getting out the way. Yeah, it was, as JB comes through the Lesmos. Is it going to be an improvement in Sector 2? I think he might have gotten a nick of the grass there, which wouldn't have helped his time, and missed the apex in Lesmo 2. DRS down towards Ascari. Let's see if there's any improvement at the sector line. No, he's lost it all in the second sector. It's so easy to do that, though. Through Ascari he goes. Can he find some more improvement down towards the line? He's going to get a slipstream off of his teammate Crozer as they head towards the line. As they head towards Parabolica, Crozer gets swiftly out the way, and now JB through the final corner he goes. Great teamwork from McLaren. Is it going to work out for JB here? Down to the line he goes. It's a 20.3. It's a slight 3/10 improvement, but only enough to get him up one position. And now he's going to give Crozer the tow on the way down towards turn 1. Fantastic teamwork from the McLarens. Love to see that. As through the first chicane they go. Jack Alaco improves to P4 with his final run. What about the two Mercs? RJ coming down towards the last corner. Sumo's retired from the session in turn 1. Disaster for him, unfortunately. He'll be starting from the back. RJ also not improving. So the two Mercedes 14th and 15th to start this race. Aces down towards the line. He's not improving though in Sector 2. What about Lawrence down through Parabolica? Can he put himself any closer to pole position? It's looking like a good lap from the timing. It's a 19.9 up to P6 for Lawrence. Crozer also also retires. That's at the exit of Lesmo 2. He has lost it there, trying to get the best time possible. LB comes to the final corner now. Can he spring a surprise? What about Palang, who's also coming to the line? He's crashed into the pit lane. LB goes wide. He's done a Leclerc at Parabolica into the gravel. He goes, so no improvement for him either. Tier also not improving, 2.5 tenths down in Sector 2. Is anyone going to improve on these final runs? Jonathan looks like he might, but no, he's backed off. What about JB? He's coming through Sector 2. No improvement for him either, and that is it. Barely any improvements on the final runs of this quali session, and it's official JE who takes pole position for the Italian Grand Prix with his fellow newbie Alex with him on the front row, but it's so close between all the drivers out there, and this promises to be a fantastically close race. Less than 8.5 tenths between 13 drivers. The Mercedes a little way off, of course, but Sumo still getting used to wheel. RJ still getting used to no ABS, so it can be forgiven. As we see Jack Alaco with no front right tyre. That was close, he says. What happened? Well, it is JE on pole position for the Italian Grand Prix. He'll be delighted with that, and Alex G alongside him on the front row. Palang makes it an Aston Martin 2-3 in P3, with Jack Alaco on the second row. Tier and Lawrence make up the third row, with LB down in P7 and Aces in 8th. Crozer and Scott make up the rest of the top 10, with then Jonathan not far behind at all in 11th. JB, Robsu in 12th and 13th, just 8.5 tenths off pole there, down in 13th place, and then RJ and Sumo quite a way down in 14th and 15th, but it's going to be a long race, and the goal for them is just improvement at this stage. So, as we wait for the race to get underway, any podium predictions in the chat from those watching? It's going to be a fascinating race, and I'm sure it's going to be not smooth sailing, I would say. I really hope so. But I think an incident-prone track, this, just because of the way it is. And down towards turn 1, we'll see if everyone can keep it clean. Hope so. But off for the formation lap we go. It's going to be JE on pole position, of course, to lead off the rest of the grid. While they're on a formation lap, I'm just going to grab a quick glass of water. I'll be right back. Back with my glass of water. Make sure I don't lose my voice, although I may do anyway, given how close this grid is from qualifying. Just 8.5 tenths between the top 13. At one point there was less than a tenth between all of the top 4. This promises to be fantastic. as they head down towards Ascari. Alex gets 0 for the helmet review, 0 out of 10. That is a default helmet, which is the cardinal sin of the helmet review. JE, I can't remember if that's if that's a default design or if the colours have been edited. I think the colours have been edited. If the colours have been edited, it's 9, maybe even 9.5. That's a lovely helmet. If that's just a default, then that's just always a 1 out of 10. Jack Lacko going on the grass there in Parabolica. He will not want to do that in the race, and neither will anyone else, as everyone now heads down towards the grid to form up for the start of this Italian Grand Prix. I think the objective for most here on the grid, given by the pre-race banter in the Discord, is going to be survive as we head down towards turn 1. But it's going to be fantastic, this one. 2 Aston Martins, 2 in the 3, 2 Williams, 4 and 6. And of course, the McLarens are going to be fighting their way through, especially Crozer. Always good on race pace is the McLaren driver. But here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're on the way, there we go, for the Italian Grand Prix. It's a great start from JE from pole position as everyone hurtles down towards turn 1. Alex is on the inside though, he's going to try and send it into the corner. Palang has braked too late and there's a bit of contact between the two. JE goes over the curves but retains P1 for now. As everyone files through, there's yellow flags further back. That's Ace's round, unfortunately, down into P15. But JE and Alex go side by side once again down towards De La Rogier. Who's going to come out in front here? It's going to be JE as Alex backs out and Lawrence goes far too deep into the corner. Has to clatter over the curbs. Crozer already up to P4. What did I say about him in the races? Incredible start for Crozer, up 5 positions already as he charges his way through the grid. JE and Alex off on their own at the moment. But Crozer going to be chasing them down, as so is Jack Lacko as he looks to the outside of Ascari. Is surely going to back out here and does. And Crozer retains the position up to P4 for the McLaren driver. JB remains in P12. Sumo up 2 in the meantime. Robsu up 3 and Scott up 2 as well. But no one has made as good a start as Crozer. Palang down 4 positions after his blunder into turn 1. He's very lucky to come away with that, away from that without damage. There's 3 wide through Parabolica, which is surely not going to end well, and it doesn't. Sumo is round in the background, unfortunately. Really hate to see that, but it's official JE at the front with Alex just behind him, a 10th behind, as Lawrence puts the pressure on Robsu. Scott putting the pressure on LB, or maybe the other way round as they go through turn 2. There's a bit of contact tyre to tyre between them, but it's LB through. RJ retires in the pit lane. He has not had a good time. But these two still side by side as they head down towards De La Rogier. It's going to be Scott on the inside, is surely going to make the move, and does. LB has to concede and could be under threat from his own teammate Robsu there, and there's this AlphaTauri of Jonathan just skipping straight over the curb and looking to make the overtake on Robsu through Lesmo 1. They're still side by side down towards Lesmo 2. Is Jonathan going to back out? Yes, he does. And JB has got to just watch and wait for something to happen here as Lawrence gets past his teammate. Palang down to P6, but he's looking to make a move on Crozer, who must have made a mistake, or something's happened to Crozer. He's back down to P6 again. I'm not sure how that's happened, but maybe a mistake, maybe a bit of contact. I'm not entirely sure. But still a great start for him. Lawrence as well, chasing after those top 2 as it stands. JE and Alex racing away at the front of the grid. Who's that? That's just RJ's AI retiring, unfortunately. JE sets the fastest lap at the front as here comes Alex behind him. Going into turn 1, he's not going to make a move quite yet. If Lawrence can just catch up a little bit, he should be in DRS. LB looking to make the move on Scott once again into turn 1. Gets it done this time. Tier has to wait behind them. He's down 4 positions. It's been a terrible first few laps for the Red Bull driver, unfortunately for him. But Scott Again, still with LB, not letting the Alfa Romeo driver go at this early stage of the race. Lap 3 of 27, still a long way to go here in Monza, but it is one of the shortest races time-wise on the calendar. But that doesn't mean there's not a long way to go in this one. There's not plenty of opportunities to get back in this as Kroza's gone. Kroza's out of the race at Lesmo 2. He has binned it in the same place that he binned it in qualifying. He is going to be absolutely gutted after a wonderful first couple of laps from him. Sumo will be back in the race as a result, but we do have a safety car at this early stage. Kroza just binned it all on his own. He's going to be absolutely gutted, and 0 points for him today. But JE still leads in now. Those top 6 have got a decision to make. They've all started on the mediums. Those on hards have also got to make this decision. Do they come in for the mediums? JE stays out of the pits, as does Alex, as does Lawrence. No, Lawrence Lawrence dives into the pits, as does Palang, the championship leader. They're going to be pitting surely for the hard tyres. JB also in, taking the plunge, might as well from the back of the grid. Aces stays out on the hards, and Sumo will surely be in. Yes, he is. And I have to say, Sumo, that helmet, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I like the purple streaks on the top. I've never done a helmet review of Sumo, which is great. Yeah, I'll give that a 9, to be honest. It would be 10 if that yellow wasn't so bright. Like if it was like if it was a color that went better with the pink, or like white or something. If it was white, that would be a 10. But the yellow, I get what he's going for, but I think it's just a little bit bright on the eye compared with the light pink near it. So, but still, excellent helmet from Sumo, and I would expect nothing less from my commentary partner. As everyone trundles round under the safety car now for a few laps as Sumo catches back up to the pack. But absolute disaster for Kroza. He's going to be devastated. What a start he had, up 5 positions on lap 1. And then deja vu from qualifying, unfortunately for him. And now JB is flying the flag of McLaren. It's not really been a good start to the season for any of last season's title contenders. Lawrence has won the first race of the season the last, I think, 3 or 4 seasons until now in Tier 2. Never won the championship, but usually has a great race in the first race of the season, and usually wins it. This time, not so much. And also, Tia missed the first race of the season as well. Kroza's now DNF'd in race 2. Jonathan, of course, has got no line for this season, so the utmost respect to him. He's doing a great job, but of course, it's going to be very difficult for him to defend his title with that handicap. Yeah, if he didn't have it, he would be absolutely destroying this grid. I guarantee it. So utmost respect to him for respecting the timings and taking the plunge, and he'll only get better as the season progresses. Started off with a very, very tough track for No Line France last week. Looks like it's going to be a dry race as well. It was very unpredictable, changeable conditions last week as well, so it looks like it's going to be a bit calmer, dry race this week. But here we go. Safety car should be in this lap. There we go. The lights have turned off. There's the notification at the top of your screen, and we're about to get underway for the start, or for the continuation of this race. Going to be lap 6 of 27. By the time they get to the end of this one, JE can choose when he wants to go. As soon as that safety car comes into the pit lane, he can punch it whenever he likes. No overtakes before the start-finish line. Praying for no collisions into turn one. We've had one already this race, Louis, as Jay looks like he's punched it already. He might get stopped by the limiter in the game here. No, the safety car's in, so he should be fine. He's gone very early, and this is going to give Alex the opportunity now to stay with him, and he has done. Here he is, the Aston Martin driver looking to the outside of turn one. Can he make the move? No, he can't. He's just going to have to sit behind. Not quite enough for him to get side by side into the corner, but everyone looks like they're getting through cleanly through turns 1 and 2. Fantastic stuff from Tier 2. You love to see that as JE and Alex continue their battle now. Jack Alaco is up to P3 in the meantime in the Williams as Tier and Scott go side by side. Jonathan and Robsu just behind them as well. Tier making the move. Jonathan making the move as well on Robsu. Goes a bit wide and he's inside the Alfa Romeo. A bit of lag for Jonathan, unfortunately. Hopefully that doesn't cause too many issues. Oh yeah, he's lagging all over the place. Jeez, that must be difficult to race with. I don't know what's happened to his internet. It was absolutely no problems last season. But anyway, he's down in P8 at the moment, putting all the pressure on the Finnish driver ahead, and now looking to the inside of Ascari. Can't make the move though, brakes early to avoid hitting the back of him, and we'll have to live to fight another day. Ace is in P11. He's back in this race as well after an early collision. Sumo's staying with the pack for now, which is great to see too, as Tier and Scott go wheel to wheel once more. The Haas driver getting the better of his old friend through Parabolica, and Jonathan getting the better of Robsu at the same corner as well. Up to P7 goes the lagging AlphaTauri. As now Robsu will look to get back at him, as well as Lawrence, who's pitted, of course, for those hard tyres. And he's looking to make progress back up the field, but he can't do it because they're side by side again ahead of him. Jonathan and Robsu still fighting, and Tier and Scott up ahead as well. Someone's gone round. That's Ace's round in turn one. Unfortunately for him, it always seems to be Aces that these things happen to. Unfortunately, and now Lawrence on the attack on Jonathan. He's round the outside of the AlphaTauri. Jonathan's going to send it to the inside though, and breaks late and gets it stopped. Great move from Jonathan. That's what you can do with no line. You can feel for when you can brake and when you can get that done, and it feels easier to get the car stopped with no line as well. Can't explain it, but anyway. LB right behind Jack Alaco for P3 at the moment. None of these guys have pitted, remember. Only Lawrence, Palang, JB and Sumo have pitted for fresh tyres. But Lawrence, Palang and JB all onto the hards. They can take those to the end. It will be tough, but they can do it for sure. As Palang makes the move on Jonathan, who must have made a mistake on the exit of Ascari because he's lost 2 positions there, and he's back down to P10 as a result. And now is going to be under pressure from JB. DRS now enabled once again, as they all head down towards turn 1. Alex and official JE have streaked away from the pack. Jacko still under pressure from LB at the moment. Palang still down in P9, but got a lot of work to do, as does Lawrence, but of course they have a pit stop in hand, so it's going to be an interesting strategic race this if we don't have another safety car, but if we do have another one in short succession, then they will be cursing their decision to pit at that first one. As they all file through. Jack Lacko losing time to those top 2 who just seem a class above here in Monza at the moment. Alex has sorted out his race pace, as has JE. Neither of them were particularly impressive in France for race pace. Alex, of course, got pole, but race pace, he got a drive through early on, and after that, it just he just didn't seem to be gelling with the car. He didn't have the race pace that that his qualifying promised he might. As Lawrence goes very wide, Ascari and Robsu has to avoid him on the exit. Very, very close between them. We've got Sumo round, unfortunately, at the exit of Ascari as well. It's 3 wide down towards Parabolica, and there's contact as Palang comes back across the track and hits Jonathan into the grass. He will not be happy about that one, as now Palang goes down the inside of Robsu. forces the Finnish driver out wide, and now he's going to go for a double overtake, is the Canadian driver. He's going to go for it, but so is Robsu. He's going to go to the outside. He finds the inside now, but Palang places his car in the right place, just about gets it stopped for turn one, but that's going to invite Robsu, because he's gone wide, to go back around the outside. There's action happening up ahead as well, but look at this, for jostling for position. Palang's still up to P7, but now Lawrence is going to look to make progress on the Aston Martin, but can't do it into De La Rosière. What about Jonathan and Robsu, who go side by side through the same corner once again? Robsu is just about ahead, but here comes Jonathan once more on the outside of Lesmo 1. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. And now JB's looking for a piece of the cake, as it were, a piece of the pie. What is the phrase? I've no idea what I'm saying, everyone. There's too much action. But Alex and JE still locked together through Ascari at the moment. JE had pulled about a 9/10 gap on him, but that has come tumbling back down again through the rest of the circuit. Robsu now on the outside of Jonathan again as he makes another mistake through Ascari. Here comes JB as well, looking for a way through, but has to lift off and just back out of that one. There's no way that was going to end well if he didn't. And Jonathan down to P10. Is there damage to the AlphaTauri? Yes, there is. There's no front right end plate, unfortunately. And Alex gets ahead of JE, but breaks too late for turn one in the meantime for the lead of the race, and has to concede that one and lose a lot of time as a result. A few tenths back again now on the Alpine he is. And this is all allowing LB and Jacko to close back up to those top two. It is far from over, this race, as Lawrence, despite official and Alex's lead at the moment, Lawrence and Palang still locked together, but the Williams driver is the one in front now. Palang just going to have to try and keep up as Lawrence continues to carve his way through the pack. It's Tier next on his list. 3 laps fresher, hard tyres on the Williams compared to the Red Bull, as he's going to try and get within that DRS range, but can't quite do it down towards Ascari. But Tier doesn't have it either, crucially, on Scott, who's driving very well in P5 at the moment, but just not quite able to keep up with LB and Jacko. So they continue down towards the last corner. Robsu and JB close together as well. JB trying to take advantage, but with Jonathan now out of the picture from those drivers, it's going to be much harder for JB to keep on track with him, as now Alex and Official go side by side once again, but again the Alpine driver takes the inside line and Alex is forced into a lockup, and nothing he can do, but it's looking very, very close between those two. And if they start fighting, even for a little, if they go side by side at any point through turns 1 and 2, these two are going to gain at least a second on them. That is how much time you can lose through the first chicane, as LB makes a mistake through De La Rosière, which is not going to help his cause. Jacko's still right behind him. He's good at this circuit with no line, is the Scottish driver. Scott just trying to keep up in the meantime, as is Tier, but Lawrence is now right behind him, as well as the Canadian of Palang, the championship leader. They've both pitted, these two, for the hard tyres already, so they have a decent advantage over these drivers in terms of strategy and slight tyre wear advantage as well. But a little mistake through Ascari could invite Palang to go up the inside, but not quite into Parabolica. We've got to cut, though, back to the front too, because it's Alex versus JE once again. Alex with a worse exit out of Parabolica than the Alpine ahead of him, but he's got the DRS. Jack Alaco getting past LB, who pits in the meantime. But here comes Alex again. He goes to the outside. Again, Official breaks late. And again, Alex locks up, and he can't make the move still. We've got yellow flags. That sumo round again in the same place on the track that he went round last time. He's going to be disappointed with that, but LB comes out on fresh hard tyres to go to the end of the race now, and he's going to be praying that we don't get a safety car in the next few laps. Palang now getting past here for P6, as the Red Bull driver, not much he can really do about that one, as Palang and Lawrence just carving their way through the field at the moment. It's Scott next up, and there's not much he can do. He's got no DRS on him, and I think he will just here. I don't think he will fight these guys too hard as they go down towards Ascari. Lawrence has the DRS. Look at the overspeed he's got. He looks to the inside but sensibly backs out well before the corner. There's no way that was going to work if he sent it there, and he's going to wait for the DRS down towards turn 1 and make the move in a much more sensible place. Alex has lost quite a bit of time to JE on this lap, but still just about within the DRS range. That's the crucial thing. Scott could lose 2 places here. JE into the pits. He's come in for his scheduled stop, but here comes Lawrence on Scott. Palang's come in as well by the looks of it. No, he's spun. No, he has come in. He's come in as well. Palang in for another set of tyres. Not sure why he pitted under the first safety car then, but Lawrence makes the move on Scott into turn 1, gets it done, and he is off after Alex now, who's surely going to pit fairly soon, and Lawrence is going to struggle here towards the end of this race if he stays out on those hards, but that's the strategy that he's gone for, because if he pits now, he'll just end up where Palang is and not have made any progress at all, really. So he's either got to stick to that strategy or stick to the risk of staying out on the hards, or go for it and pit again and see if he can catch those 5 seconds to Alex at the moment. Official has rejoined in 7th place in the meantime, and crucially in completely clean air. JB right behind Robsu in the meantime. He's caught up to the Finnish driver and he's got DRS down towards Ascari, but like Lawrence, he backs out before the corner very sensibly, waits for a better opportunity, but goes very, very deep on the second part of that complex, and that's going to lose him a few tenths. We've got Jonathan right behind Palang in the meantime as well, as the AlphaTauri driver nearly goes round. Our race leader is into the pits, and that means Lawrence now leads the Italian Grand Prix with his 10-lap-old hard tyres. Scott right behind him, still with the DRS, still being pulled along by the Williams driver. And looking for a great result here today with Scott B. He had a very good qualifying as well, it has to be said. LB, though, sends a message to the rest of the grid and sets the fastest lap as official JE gets past Alex after the Aston Martin driver exits the pits in P6 now. And over a second behind. The undercut has worked out for official JE. A great strategy from him. Scott and Lawrence are going side by side, and that's not going to help Lawrence's cause. He's going to be frustrated with that. He must have made a mistake on the exit of De La Rocha. He's made another one on the exit of Lesmo too. Seems to be struggling now, but DRS open, he's just got to get his head back in the game. 2 mistakes in a row can easily happen, just don't make it 3. As he comes through Ascari, and now Scott is the one who leads the Italian Grand Prix, and if he doesn't come in this lap, he will lead this lap. And I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased about it. Ace is in P4 at the moment as well, but he is also yet to stop. The 2 Hasses, the only drivers on the grid now who haven't stopped yet. And Scott does stay out, and he leads lap 14 of the Italian Grand Prix, heading on to 15. Lawrence has the DRS, though he's using the overtake button as well to try and get past this Haas for the lead of the race, and he makes the move into turn 1, brakes late, goes down the inside, and that's easily done by the British driver. We've got Jonathan now with a 3-second time penalty for track limits at the back, most likely on the first left-hander of Ascari. That's where all the warnings usually come. Tier now, though, sets the fastest lap on those fresh medium tyres. He's going to be charging his way through the grid now. Robsu and Palang go side by side once again, and the Finnish driver gets back ahead of the Aston Martin, who seems to be struggling. He's on fresh mediums, but just can't really make too much progress at the moment. Sumo now the next to get a penalty near the back, but again, good practice in for my commentary partner, but yeah, it mustn't feel good there to be right at the back. We're side by side again between Palang and Robsu, but Palang gets the move done, keeps it on the inside, and Robsu has to back out on the exit as official JE makes a move on Aces down towards Ascari well before the corner. That's how you need to do it at that DRS straight. But he could be vulnerable again to the Haas on the straight down towards turn 1 as he chases after JB now, who is in P3. We've got Scott coming into the pits finally for is what will be fresh mediums. Now Palang with a 3-second time penalty for track limits, and how costly is that going to be, I wonder? Scott into the pits. I wonder where he's going to exit now. Ace is now the only driver on the track yet to pit. Lawrence and JB have already pitted in this race for the hards. They're 12 laps old. They're going to try, by the looks of it, and get to the end on those tyres and see how long they see how long they can take them. But it's going to be so difficult in the later laps of this race. But Ace is still staying with the pack for now. Scott has exited in P8 and in perfectly clean air. He's just about ahead of Tier, and that's where he would want to be. Fresh medium, 7 seconds up the road is Jack Alaco in the Williams. And that must be the target for him now. Alex looking to make more progress. He's got Aces just in front of him. Nearly hits the back of the house. Nearly loses it on the exit of Lesmo. And that's going to invite LB to make a move down towards Ascari. This could be very dangerous. It's 3 wide down towards Ascari. LB makes a double overtake, but Alex isn't done yet. He sends it to the inside. Nearly contact. That was so close. That must have been, you could fit a piece of paper between those two. The LB's rear left tyre and Alex's front wing. That was so close. I don't know how there wasn't contact, but LB is ahead, makes a beautiful double overtake down towards Ascari, and he's up to P4 now with Alex chasing him down. We got yellow flags. That's Jonathan out of the race in Ascari. Could that be a safety car? It is, and that is going to bring the pack back close together again. And Lawrence and JB are now going to be pitting for fresh mediums at this late stage. It could even be softs for them now. It's going to be very tough to get those softs to the end from here, but they could do it. Jacko pits for the mediums. Robsu gets a 5-second penalty for pit lane speeding under the safety car. He's going to be furious with himself that he's done that. But it is Lawrence who's going to be leading this race. Official JE, our pole sitter, down in P3 right now. But this safety car will bring him back up to those top 2. But I think he would have preferred no safety car because he has a massive tyre advantage over them right now. But after the safety car, he's not going to have any advantage at all. And this track really lends itself to safety cars. You see them so often around here. But it is Lawrence who leads this race. Unfortunately, Jonathan with the DNF. As now Robsu gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. I reckon he's got the glitch. I reckon he's got the glitch where he can't see messages at the top of his screen. That's a real shame for him. Lawrence into the pits, of course. JB should be in as well. And he is indeed. What about official JE? He stays out on the hard tyres. He's going for it. LB in. I think official JE has made a very poor error here in strategy, but LB has made a worse error because he's gotten a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane under the safety car. Disaster for him. That could be extremely costly with this late safety car. Robsu now with another 3-second time penalty. He's definitely got the glitch, 100%. That's a real shame for him. But official JE now leads this race again, but he's on 5-lap-old hard tyres, and everyone behind him is on fresh mediums. Oh boy, he is going to have a torrid time out there. Defending for his life for this race win. It's going to be really tough. Yeah, Jonathan, what was it? Ascari exit. Looked like it. Sumo back into the pits. Fresh tyres. It's going to be fresh mediums. No, it's the hards for... No, it's the softs. It's the softs for Sumo. Coming out of the pit lane. There he goes. He's taken the plunge, and why not? He's going to absolutely send it. Had a horrible line and no traction. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Don't worry about it. You were looking good for a large portion of that race. Quali wasn't bad either. You were right on the pace in Quali. So, you know, it's not it's not like you haven't got your racing skills. It's just difficult to get used to. I saw you had damage at one point. Was that just a braking too late? Braking too late. Yeah, you messed up in quality. You had 0.3 in you. So, you know, the pace was good, man. The pace was good. Just the consistency, and that's always the hardest thing. I think my advice would be just don't try and push it so much in the races. Like, I know it feels like you'll drop off the pack, but on a track like this, really, if people are going to battle, you'll be straight back into it again. Just take it steady until you get more confident as the race progresses, and that will help your consistency. I mean, Sumo's having a torrid time. He's still getting used to wheel. Got his new wheel a couple of weeks ago. Decided to join Tier 2. Someone moved over. You'll probably report it. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. I think I know the contact that you're talking about. Yeah. I think I know exactly what you mean. And yeah. Safety car in this lap, and Sumo is going to be left out to dry here, unfortunately. But at least he'll have a clear track to practice on. But he's going to be saying some choice words in the stream, I'm sure. Yeah, you crashed out, right, Jonathan? You just crashed out on the exit. Here comes JE. He leads the pack once again, and he's gone at the same point that he went last time, just before entry to Parabolica. Nearly regrets it, loses the rear on the exit, and now Lawrence is going to have a huge opportunity down towards turn 1. Uses the overtake, goes on the outside line, and he's going to make the overtake here down towards turn 1. There's a bit of contact as they go side by side towards the corner. Official JE brakes very late, gets the job done, and keeps the place for now, but Lawrence is all over the back of him. There's overtakes happening further back as well. Tier and Jacko going side by side through the first chicane, but we've got to keep an eye on the front here. JE defends the inside for the next corner. Lawrence has to go around the outside, but has to now brake early and back out of that one, and that's going to invite Scott to the party. He's in P3 right now on fairly fresh mediums. 2 laps older than most around him, but still fairly fresh. Palang's going to struggle in a few laps as well, but LB still with that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane could be massively debilitating for him in these late stages with everyone so close together. Here comes Lawrence down towards the Ascari chicane, going right for it with official JE, side by side nearly through Ascari, but he's going to go for it on the exit instead, and Scott's going to make it 3 wide down towards Parabolica. Can the Haas driver get his way in front? No, he can't, because JE's still there, but he's going to go wide at Parabolica on the exit and invite Lawrence back through as well, and he's really struggling on those hard tyres compared to the mediums. Here comes Palang as well. Scott now leads the Italian Grand Prix with Lawrence just behind, but Palang's there as well. They're going to be 2 by 2 down towards turn 1. Scott on the inside, then who's that that's braked late? It's JE, but just about avoids contact with Scott, who continues to lead this race now. JE back to P2 somehow after all of that, and Palang back down to 4th. Lawrence in P3. LB just fighting for his life out there is Alex, trying to make his way through, but everyone's on the same tyres. It's so difficult. There's no tyre advantage in the middle of the pack, and this is incredible stuff. Yes, I 100% recommend this league, MTT, not least because I own it, but no, feel free to join. It's great. all divisions. Fantastic atmosphere, fantastic racing. As you can see, here comes LB on the inside of Palang. These two have history. Down towards Ascari they go. LB on the inside, cuts the corner, forces Palang wide, and Palang comes back on the track, and LB nearly goes off. There's more contact between the two. I think it was first instigated by LB, but it's all up in the air what happened there. They're both going to be annoyed at how that one transpired, I think. The two Aston Martins now side by side down towards Parabolica. They've lost 2 seconds to the front three. Palang gets a 5-second penalty for corner cutting and for an illegal overtake, but I don't know if we'll see that get given. I will put the Discord in chat later on, MCT, when the race is over. Alex, though, round the outside of Palang, makes the move. The two Aston Martins still fight, though, down towards De La Rogier. It's P4 for Alex as he tries now to chase after the top three. Lawrence chasing after JE. Scott's now got an over a 1 second lead at this point as they both clatter over the curbs, and it's a big mistake for JE on the exit. Just about keeps it facing in the right direction. Somehow aces his round further back in De La Rogier, but I don't know how JE is still in this race. I thought he was done for there. It's somehow pointing in the right direction, but now Alex, who started with him on the front row, goes round the outside down towards Ascari. Official, I think, is going to really regret not pitting here, as Alex is up to P3. What a drive it's been from him so far, but JE could keep hemorrhaging positions here. He's got Palang now right behind him, the championship leader in the Aston Martin. He's being hounded by both Aston Martins now, but Palang is going to have the inside for Parabolica. He's going to have the DRS as well, but so is JE, so it's going to be tough here. As now LB's looking to join the party as well in the Alfa Romeo. Jack Alaco and JB and Tier all very close together behind as well. JB going down the inside. Palang and official JE still fighting as official breaks too late. Has to go all the way across the corner. Loses, gets a 10-second penalty, but he'll get that removed in stewards for sure, as he gave up the positions, and he's going to give up another position here. LB gets all the way past round the outside through Curva Grande up to P5, and JE is going to be furious at himself that he didn't pit, because I think that is what's really set him back here today. LB right behind Palang in the meantime, looking for more overtakes in this race, but he's still got that 5-second penalty to contend with. And Palang's got his 3-second penalty as well, as the Aston Martin has DRS from his teammate, who's trying to catch up to those top two. Lawrence now in striking range of Scott. 4.5 laps to go in this race, as JB, Tier and Jacko all close together still. Official JE losing another place there as JB goes very wide at Ascari. He is going all the way down the grid on those hard tyres. He is going to be gutted that he's thrown this away. He's down to P7 now. Tier and JB fighting just behind, but surely it's only a matter of time until he loses out to those two as well. He's into the pits, in fact. He is into the pits, and enough is enough, as now Lawrence takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix on lap 24 of 27. Goes down the inside of Scott and makes the move. It is going to be a new front wing for JE. He's going to be furious with how this has transpired, but I think he's only got a strategy decision to blame. Palang goes across the turn one chicane as well, loses a couple of places as a result. JB and Tier still right together. Scott still keeping up with Lawrence for now. This battle is not over yet, and Alex is trying to catch them too on his fresh medium tyres. 1.5 seconds is the gap. It's surely only going to come down, especially if Scott starts fighting Lawrence again. LB with another 3-second time penalty. He's up to 8 seconds now. It's going to drop him all the way to 8th as it stands, I think. He's really thrown this one away. Without those penalties, he could have been challenging for a podium here, or at least P4, but disastrous for him in these late stages. Jack Alaco still just about keeping Tier and JB at bay for P5. JE fighting with Sumo now for P11, gets the move done, but now here comes Scott again. DRS open on the back of Lawrence. He's going to go for this one. He wants this race win. He missed out on a race win in Britain last season, but this time doesn't send it into turn one. And this is going to allow Alex to catch up. He's going to be able to take that chicane much more tightly because he has no cars in front of him. It's so impactful having a car in front of you because you've just got to be careful not to take them out. Alex has got no ERS though, which could really hamper his chances at this race win, even if he does catch back up. Yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not sure who that's for. But we're still going through here. Scott right behind this Williams. 3/10 is the gap as they go through Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. They're both fine through there. Neither of these drivers using the racing line. And they're both gunning for the race win here. Alex right behind them, the newbie looking for his first race win in APPF1. He's currently on for his first podium in the league. Can he get his first race win? The pole sitter all the way down in P11. He's going to get the fastest lap, I think, but he's going to be gutted that he hasn't been able to get on the podium at least today. Lawrence and Scott still right behind each other. Scott with 70% ERS, Lawrence with about 50%. It's fairly even at this late stage. 2 laps to go in the Italian Grand Prix. Here comes Scott now. He's got the DRS open. There's a car coming out the pits just ahead of them, but they've just about managed to avoid that as Scott goes down the inside of the Williams into turn 1, and he makes the move up to P1 again. As Lawrence has to back out of that one and wait to go for it again into turn 1 on the final lap of this race. Alex still trying to chase them down, but he's got no ERS, and it's going to make his life so difficult unless they really start fighting in these slow sections of the track. Official JE does get that fastest lap that I think he deserves, but yeah, that strategy decision to stay out, it will haunt him now for the next week until he can race again in Tier 2 in Jeddah next week. But Tier has gotten ahead of Jack Alaco in the meantime while we were watching the front runners, and he's up to P5. It'll be P4 after LB's penalties. It's a great effort from him as Lawrence and Scott side by side down towards Ascari, and this could really invite Alex in, and it has. He's in the DRS range as we go on to the final lap of the Italian Grand Prix. What a race this has been, and what a finale we're about to have. Scott leads from Lawrence, from Alex. Alex has got no ERS left, so it's going to be tough for him. But Scott is going to give it absolutely everything. They're both going to use all the ERS they have. Scott with a fantastic exit out of Parabolica, and Lawrence is not going to be close enough. He's going to send it around the outside, but it's not going to be enough. They're side by side into turns 1 and 2, but Lawrence has to back out. Scott leads this race still through turn 2. Through turn 3 they go now. Who's got more ERS? It's Scott, but not by much. They're very, very close. Alex just trying to stay with them, give himself any chance of winning this race, but he's going to have to hope for a mistake from either one of them. LB just behind as well in DRS range of Alex, but he's not going to be close enough, and he's got the penalties anyway. Through Lesmo 1. Through Lesmo 2 now, and down towards the DRS straight to Ascari. Scott with a 6/10 lead, but he loses a bit on the exit of Lesmo 2, and this could be the opportunity Lawrence needed. He's got the DRS. Look at the closing speed of the Williams as they go down towards Ascari. Who's going to come out in front? Scott to the inside. He goes wide on the exit though, and invites Lawrence, and Scott's round. No, Scott. Oh no. And now here comes Alex to the inside of Lawrence. Surely he can't take this in the last couple of corners of this Grand Prix. What a race this has been. I feel so sorry for Scott, but Alex is going to come around the final corner. He makes the overtake on the last lap in the last corner. Alex wins the Italian Grand Prix. What a race. Lawrence finishes P2. Jack Alaco makes it a double podium for Williams. What a drive from him. JB P4, LB down in P5 after his penalties, Tier in P6. I don't know if you can tell, my voice is gone. Ace is down in 7th. Palang P8. Robsu is going to finish P9. Official J is going to be absolutely devastated, but he will finish in P10. And Scott will be classified in P11, but he is going to be absolutely gutted. Whew. What an incredible Grand Prix that was. My voice is so gone. I couldn't do anything high-pitched at the end there. I was gone. I was trying my best. But Alex G wins the Italian Grand Prix. What a drive from him. Well, female avatar. I'm assuming him, but Alex, if you're watching the stream and you have different pronouns, please tell me, and I will correct it for next time. But it is Alex who wins the first APPF1 Grand Prix with Lawrence in P2. Jacko finishes on the podium in P3. He'll be delighted. JB in P4 with LB in 5th place after his penalties, which he'll be frustrated that he got. Tia finishes in 6th in the end. Aces down in 7th with Palang, Robsu and official JE down in 10th from pole position. Scott gets classified in P11 after his final lap crash, and Sumo will finish in 12th a lap down with Jonathan, Crozer and RJ all unable to finish the race. But wow, what a Grand Prix. So I was replying to people on Discord. Interviews are a thing, so I'm going to be inviting Scott, Lawrence, and Jacko to the chat. First, I'm going to send a Discord link. Hang on, Scott. Not Scott, sorry, Scott. Of course not Scott. Oh, no. Alex, Lawrence, and Jacko. Feel free to join the interview room. And let me get that set up now. Sorry, Jack. Sorry. Tier 2. Start party. Yeah, 100% Jonathan, 100%. He is going to be absolutely devastated with that. But so close. I thought he got it. I thought he had it. When he exited turn 2 in front, I thought he had it. But wow, what a finish. But it was all his own doing. It was all his own doing. We've got Alex in the interview room, just waiting for Lawrence and Jacko, the two Williams. There's Lawrence, and I'm assuming Jacko will make his way in as well. But we'll start with you, Alex. Your first ever APPF1 win, but goodness me, you had to work for it with a bit of luck at the end there, but still took advantage and got it in the last couple of corners. Yeah, brilliant race and a brilliant recovery from you as well. I think after the safety car, you were down in the sort of back end of the midfield and then fought your way all the way back up. Were there any hair-raising moments on your way carving back through the field, or was it smooth sailing overtakes mostly?
There was just a bit in turn one. I think he was on the outside, I was on the inside, and as I was going through turn two, I think Colin, sorry, no, LB Racing, he came across, and I had to brake a bit, not give myself room, so that was one thing. Then I was sort of lucky with LB and Glenn. They came together. I was able to beat in the right lane. Um, yeah, was a bit chaotic at points, not as much as I thought it would be. But starting from the first turn as I did in turn one, it makes it a bit easier. So yeah, I think there's just one thing everyone behaved. That's it.
Yeah, from what I watched, I would agree. A couple of moments, but it happens. It's Monza. um,
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
as featured on track, I remember with position J, there was a moment where I almost lost them,
mhm.
went to wheel and went against him, but I was able to avoid that. The definition at least at that point he was behind me. So yeah, good race overall.
Yeah, well, great performance. I mean, pre-stewards, but I'm assuming you won't you won't fall foul of any of that from what I watched. But congratulations on your first ever APPF1 victory.
Yeah, thank you. Wasn't expecting that. Not here in Monza, but yeah, good.
Yeah, well done. Well, we'll head over to Lawrence, who finished in P2. What a battle that was with Scott in the last few laps. Give us your thoughts on that, Lawrence.
Can I ask you a question before I start? What on earth happened in that last two corners? So I have no idea.
What in Ascari?
Yeah, I really do not know what happened. I
Um,
saw a comment from Scott saying that he took too much curb and lost the back end,
yeah,
and before I know it, yeah, I was overtaken on the penultimate corner.
yeah.
It,
No, Alex. Sorry, Scott. Basically sent it in the inside of Ascari. Obviously, you've
y-
got to the last lap,
yeah,
but then yeah, went a bit too wide, got on the curb, tried to get the power down on the exit for the left-hander, and just the last I saw of his car was just going straight on to the right off camera and into the wall.
yeah. I,
So
I
yeah,
I was petrified that I made contact with him, and it's just yeah, it was just congratulations to Alex, by the way. That was a real smash and grab win. It was he fought valiantly to get back into that race for the last like 5 laps or so. Obviously, me and Scott was just to-ing and throwing for the last few laps, and then I just saw that gap coming down where Alex had clean air, and
yeah.
yeah, it was a topsy turvy race. So I thought I made a real mistake with the strategy. First safety car, I was like one of the only few from the front to box, but I got through the field quite cleanly. And the safety car came out again. I believe Jonathan had an incident or crashed, and yeah, I've managed to pit for fresh mediums for the last 10 laps, as I think most of the field did. And yeah, just a bit of a showdown from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fantastic drive from yourself and all of those. Well, what would have been the top three if Scott had stayed in it. But yeah, I just wanted to know with the hard tires. You went onto the hards at the first safety car. Were you planning to take those to the end, or was the plan always to hope for another safety car and come in later?
I was probably about 2 or 3 laps from just going on softs and just having to push at the end because the gap was.
Ah,
I noticed they was catching me quite rapidly, and I don't think I'd have been able to get them to the end. Safety car came out. Thankfully, it worked in my favour on that occasion. But yeah, I'd probably say I was about 2 or 3 laps from just going to the softs to the end and just having a last minute dash like that.
oof, it really worked out then at the end.
Yeah, it was. it all worked out eventually, and then obviously the last lap happened. Me and Scott was squabbling over a DRS, I think, on the penultimate lap. It was
Yeah.
and then once he realised, or was it because he slowed down, I think, and he realised I wasn't going to take the bait to go past him, and then yeah, I wish I did in a way, but it happens. It was overall it was a good race. It was a nice clean battle. You know, credit to Scott as well. Unfortunately, he had the DNF, but you know, I'm quite sure, you know, sitting in that commentator, and you could see he deserved the podium.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations anyway, Lawrence. Missing out on the win at the last corner has got to be gutting, but at the same time, I think you'll most likely be pleased with how that race transpired in general, considering especially where you qualified.
Yeah, I think if I remember the race start, I think I did get a good start and got up to third, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gutted that I can't use a Danny Ricciardo redemption meme. Because I think last season I had a comfortable lead and binned it at the second leg.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well,
so the redemption meme will have to come out another day.
Well, it's still a great performance and a great podium from yourself, and a good start to the season. So long may it continue, Lawrence. Well done.
Yeah, thank you, Ghost. Thank you for your commentary.
No problem, as always. And Jacko in the interview room. Great to see you, buddy.
Don't know how I'm here, but I'm here.
Well, congratulations. P3 for you in the end. How was that race for you? I didn't really see much of you in the race, but I did see that you were in some pretty tight sort of three-way, four-way battles pretty much throughout.
Where do I start? So, decent start. I was just kind of chilling around the top 4 or 5. Decided not to pit under the first safety car, which I thought was the smart option. Again, just up until that second safety car, just kind of by myself really in that 4th, 5th area. And then that after I pitted, I came out like 8th or 9th, and then the second safety car came out, which obviously was very handy for the drivers who who pitted under the first safety car. So I just thought, okay, this is me now, especially with no line. It's very hard compared to these other boys. But carnage in the last few laps, and I just carved my way through.
Yeah, it was a great display from yourself to stay out of those incidents, really, and just and keep on it. But you also had good pace as well today, staying with the drivers that you were with all race. It's hard to break out of those groups, but you never really fell out of a group this race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of did fall out a bit at the end of the after my pit stop, and then thankfully the safety car came, and I don't think I've gone through so many different emotions in the last 5 or 6 corners of that last lap. So sum it up. So I come around Lesmo 2, I have a rubbish exit. Tier is... sorry, no, it's the opposite way around. I got a good exit of Lesmo 2 behind Tier. Get him down that back straight. I was having PTSD from Friday, as you'll know.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I got around the outside Tier before the braking zone. Then I see Scott spinning. I was like, I didn't realise at this point Scott was second or first, wherever he was. So I just thought, I don't know, I thought he was a lap down or something. Then I look up and I'm fourth place. Sorry. I get a rubbish exit out of Ascari. Tears on my outside. So I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna lose podium because of LB, who had 8 seconds. And then Tier locked his rear brakes and spun, nearly taking me out in the process. Then I look up and because I thought maybe LB's 5 seconds, because 5 seconds round here can be a bit iffy.
Yeah.
So I looked up and I see 8 seconds. I seen the gap was 2.97 something. And it went like 2.98, 2.99, 2.99. Came across the line at like 2.98.
Wow.
So even if he gets his 5 seconds removed, I got a podium. So in about 5 laps, I went from 9th to 3rd somehow. So
Wow. Well, what a drive from yourself. I honestly, from my point of view, I feel like he's paradoxically more likely to get the 3 seconds removed, based on what he was saying. So yeah, but but
Well,
regardless,
hopefully he doesn't get both removed.
yeah. Well, for your sake, but still, what a drive! Definitely makes up for last week.
Oh, definitely. Monza's one of them tracks where it definitely clicks for me with no line more than others.
Yeah, for sure.
An easier track on the line.
Well, Jeddah next week. On that note.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna bother. No, I will. Yeah, I'll come and I'll try. But yeah, double podium for Williams. So.
Yeah, fantastic result for Williams, and great result for you as well. First Tier 2 podium since what, season 1?
Oh, it's 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
I should have won the title, but we don't talk about that.
Well, congratulations, and hopefully see you in here again this season.
You'd be lucky.
Well, thank you to all 3 of you for coming for an interview, and thank you all for watching as well. Hopefully you all enjoyed the stream and today's Tier 2 race. And is that whoever that is in the chat? I'll just post the Discord link for you. If I can find it. I remember where I put it. There we go. MCTT, if you're still here. What the?
What was that?
I have no idea. There's the Discord link for the Discord. For the league. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next week for more APPF1 Tier 2. Also, if you're interested, on Friday at 9:15 p.m. UK is the ESRL Division 1 finale race in Brazil with a 3-way battle for the title. It is going to be spectacular. Do not miss it. It will be right here on my channel. So hope to see you there. And thank you again for watching today. Have a good rest of your
there,
week.
so you should come watch because I'm there as well.
Yeah, Jacko will be in the race as well. So keep an eye on it. So thank you all. And I'll see you all next time for more APPF1 Tier 2. Goodbye.